Hi, I'm Gareth Breen, part of the Conair design team. In the next few minutes, you're going to see some hairstyles that I think your entire family is going to love. I've asked stylist Michael Memo to show you just how easily you can create great-looking haircuts at home using Conair's 10-piece haircutting set. Soon you'll be able to cut anyone's hair like a pro, no matter what the length or style. And you can save time and money. Before we begin, let's review what's included in your haircutting set. In addition to the powerful professional style clipper, there are 4 special blade attachments: a professional scissor, a standard barber comb, and a bottle of Conair clipper oil to keep the blades in good condition. There's also an easy-to-follow instruction booklet with more details about this kit. Operating your professional style clipper is simple. First, power is adjusted using the power screw. Take a screwdriver, or simply a dime, and turn the screw clockwise until you hear a loud hum. Then turn the screw counterclockwise until the hum becomes quieter. This is the maximum power setting. Your Conair clipper has an adjustable taper control. For cutting close around the hairline, push lever up. To feed more hair into the clipper, push lever down. For even greater precision cutting, use one of these 4 blade attachments. They ensure that you get the right length of haircut. The short attachment cuts hair to 1/8 of an inch for the base of neck and hairline. The medium short cuts hair to 1/4 inch for areas up to 2 inches from the hairline. Medium long cuts hair to 3/8 of an inch for middle, sides, and the back. And the long attachment cuts hair to 1/2 inch for area up to the crown. Now Michael will demonstrate 4 basic haircuts. This is Kenny. He has thick, wavy hair, so Michael is going to give him a taper cut to help control and organize his natural wave pattern. Michael begins by attaching a number 3 blade, which will cut the hair 3/8 of an inch. He starts cutting at the base of the neck, just below the hairline. Michael uses an upward rocking motion. As you can see, the clipper is brought up and away from Kenny's head. This rocking motion doesn't leave a hard line, and so makes the hair easier to work with. Michael continues to use the same rocking motion to cut around the ear as well as the side of the head. Here is a good close-up of the rocking motion. Returning to the back of the head, Michael begins tapering. He uses a comb to roll back the hair away from the head so that it can be trimmed. The clipper attachment has been removed, allowing the clipper to cut the hair by sliding the open blade across the comb. This technique is called clipper across comb. Using this technique allows Michael to blend the longer hair near the top of the head with the shorter hair already cut below. The result is a smooth tapered line. Returning to the side of the head, Michael will use the same clipper across comb technique to blend the hair lengths. He uses a comb to roll back the hair, then cuts it by sliding the blade across the comb. Again, this clipper across comb technique smoothly blends the longer hair above with the hair already cut below. Michael trims around the ear using the side of the clipper. He starts at the sideburn and follows the crease of the ear. This technique is called arching. For the neck, Michael uses the front edge of the clipper to cut an even line. Before cutting Kenny's bangs and the top of his head, Michael moistens the hair, which will make it easier to comb and to cut. For the bangs, he combs out the front of the hair from one side of the forehead to the other. Next, he takes a length of hair between his fingers and uses the professional scissors to cut across them. He repeats this technique on one side, then the other, until the bangs have been cut evenly. Finally, Michael prepares to cut the top. First, he takes a center strip of hair between his fingers and cuts across them again using the professional scissor. You'll notice that he uses the bangs as his guideline for length. A few minutes later, the haircut is complete, a handsome taper cut. Now Michael will demonstrate the flat top, one of today's most popular hairstyles for boys. Michael will start by outlining the perimeter of his head, then arch up and around the ear. He'll trim and outline the back and taper it very short, blending it with the top. As Michael gets to the top of the hair, he'll square it off, creating a flat top or square look. Michael begins by cutting the sideburns with the front edge of the bare clipper blade. Next, he arches around the ear using the side and front edge of the clipper. Trim slowly and carefully. At the back, Michael outlines the neck using the bare clipper blade. He holds the clipper upside down, with his thumb on the back and his fingers in the front. This way he only presses lightly with the edge of the blade to get a clean, even line. Michael uses the same techniques on the left side. First, he outlines the sideburns, then arches around the ear using the side of the bare clipper blade. Next, Michael snaps on a number 3 blade attachment which cuts hair to 3/8 of an inch long. He uses a rocking motion to cut with this attachment. He moves the clipper up and away from the head in smooth, easy motions. This rocking motion makes it easier to blend the longer top area with the shorter area below. Michael uses the same technique of locking the clipper on the sides. Notice how Michael crisscrosses the direction of the clipper to blend the sides to the back. Next, Michael removes the number 3 blade attachment. Returning to the back of the head, Michael uses the clipper across comb technique to blend in the longer hair with the hair already cut. He uses the comb to roll back the hair away from the head and cuts it by sliding the open blade across the comb. Before cutting the top and the bangs, Michael moistens the hair and combs it back away from the forehead. Both the clipper and professional scissors will work equally well for cutting bangs. But on very light blonde hair like this, where everything shows, the scissors give an extra clean line. Michael prepares to cut the bangs by combing the hair down over the forehead. Then he takes a portion of hair between his fingers and uses the professional scissors to cut across them. He repeats this technique until the bangs are cut evenly. Before cutting the top, Michael combs the hair back. Then he takes a portion of the hair between his fingers, using the length of the bangs as his guide, and cuts across his fingers using the professional scissors. He repeats this until he reaches the desired length. Finished cutting, Michael blow dries the hair. He also checks to see how the hair falls naturally to make any adjustment. Here, for example, Michael discovers a cowlick and evens it out with the clipper across comb technique. By the way, be careful with the clipper across comb, especially with kids. If they turn suddenly, you can cut too much hair. Now the haircut is complete. A handsome flat top. Many different hairstyles, including the bob, can be created from this classic blunt cut, which Michael will give Carrie. For this blunt cut, Michael will separate hair into 4 sections. He begins by moistening the hair. On longer hair like Carrie's, this makes sectioning easier. Michael will now create 4 separate sections, beginning with this section that goes from center crown to center nape. The next section that Michael creates extends from the top of the head to just past the ear. Once separated, Michael rolls up each side section and fastens it with a hair clip to Carrie's forehead. After separating the final 2 sections, Michael rolls up the hair and secures it with clips to the top of Carrie's head. This keeps the hair he's not cutting out of the way. After combing out Carrie's hair, Michael tilts her head forward slightly. As you can see, he holds the hair between his fingers and cuts it by pressing the open blade of the clipper against his fingers. Michael continues to take 2-inch section, using the underneath section that he just cut as his guide. As he did in the previous section, Michael combs out the hair before cutting. He uses his fingers to hold the hair and to measure its length against the previously cut hair. After completing the back, he sections the sides and then combs it out. Before cutting the sides, Michael uses the back of Carrie's head he's just cut as his guide for proper length. Then, he again takes the hair between his fingers and cuts it by pressing the edge of the open blade against his fingers. He continues to cut each section, using the previous section as his guide. A slow, steady motion allows for a clean, even cut. Moving to the front now, Michael prepares to cut Carrie's bangs by clipping off sections on either side of the forehead. Then, he takes a small section at the front hairline, about 1/3 of an inch, being careful not to extend beyond the arch of the eyebrows. Using the same techniques that he did with the other sections, he holds the hair between his fingers and cuts it by pressing the open clipper blade against them. Notice how Michael holds the hair between his fingers. He lifts it slightly to achieve softness and add texture. On wavy hair like Carrie's, tension used is important. Don't pull too hard on the hair because when you do let it go, it can spring up and be really short. But Michael is careful and soon Carrie's haircut is complete. A beautiful shoulder-length blunt cut. Michael will now demonstrate the mushroom cut, a great haircut for boys as well as girls. He'll begin by shortening the sides, tapering behind the ears and shortening the back. He'll also create a line that circles the contour of the head, but the top and front will stay long. This creates the mushroom shape. Michael begins by moistening the back and sides of the head. This will make the hair easier to work with. Next, he snaps on a number 3 blade attachment, which will cut the hair, about 3/8 of an inch. At the back of the head, he combs the long hair out of the way. Then, starting at the base of the neck, he cuts the hair with a rocking motion, bringing the clipper up and away from the head. He continues to use the comb to keep the long hair out of the way. On the sides, Michael uses the same rocking motion of the clipper to cut the hair, but he is careful to follow the contour of the ear. The comb keeps the longer hair out of the way. Notice how short he makes the hair around and behind the ear. He cuts the sideburns with the same locking motion, using the comb to keep unwanted hair away from the clipper. On the other side of the head, Michael continues to use the number 3 blade attachment as well as the locking motion of the clipper. Notice again how short he cuts behind and around the ear. Returning to the back of the head, Michael will use the clipper across comb technique to shorten the hair further and create the line that will circle the head. He uses the comb to roll back a portion of the hair, then cuts across the surface of the comb using the open blade of the clipper. On the side, he combs away the longer hair, then combs down the area to be cut. He'll use the clipper across comb technique to shorten the sides and continue the line that will circle the head. Notice how he uses the comb to roll back a portion of the hair, then cuts it by sliding the edge of the clipper along the comb. Before completing the side cut, Michael checks to see that the cutting line will match what he's already done in the back. He uses the clipper across comb technique to match the side with the back. The line on the side isn't quite even, so Michael cuts a little more. Finished with the sides, Michael moves to the front to cut the bangs. He begins by combing out the front. Next, he takes a portion of the hair between his fingers and cuts it using the professional scissors. He cuts one section at a time until the bangs are even. Once the bangs are even, Michael blow-dries the hair. A few minutes later, a great-looking mushroom cut. Let's review the haircutting techniques you've just seen Michael use. First, there is the comb roll. As the name suggests, you use your comb to lift and roll a portion of the hair away from the head. This is used in combination with the clipper across comb technique. After doing a comb roll, you cut the hair by sliding the open blade of the clipper across the comb. This gives you a soft but definite line. Another technique Michael used was the uniform cutting with open blade. You use a rocking motion, bringing the hair up and away from the head. This technique is called outlining. You hold the clippers upside down. You gently press the open blade against the skin to create a simple, clean line. This is arching. You use the edge of the clipper and follow the contour of the ear and hairline. Now, watch this video from beginning to end before using your Conair haircutting set. Soon you'll be able to cut hair like Michael Memo, and saving lots of time and money too.